No girls, no talking to girls, no talking to boys, no having friends, no. Studies, studies, studies. Why aren't you married? All your mom knows how to do is like make you feel small and make you feel powerless. That's the power. So if you want to unwind all this stuff, all you need to do is, so how to feel good about myself. I'm an Asian guy, 25 years old. From childhood, my parents emphasized education, believing it was the key to a better life. We weren't rich, and my mother earned more than my father, which gave her more control. Growing up, I always had to ask her for money, and she'd remind us that she was the main provider, which made me feel powerless. My mother pushed me to focus on studying, discouraging me from sports relationships, saying I needed a degree to succeed. Now that I've finished school and got a small job, she's pressuring me to find a girlfriend. The problem is I don't know how to because I was never allowed to interact with girls. Seeing my friends in relationships makes me feel like a failure. Some of them didn't go to university, but they found love while I haven't. My family situation, especially my mother's control, has held me back. I feel lost, still doing what she wants, even needing permission for many things. I want to break the cycle and figure out my life, but I don't know where to start. I've accepted being single, but I just want to feel happy and not trapped in my own mind. This is super classic. No girls, no talking to girls, no talking to boys, no having friends, no. Studies, studies, studies. Why aren't you married? Where are the children? It's like whiplash. Oftentimes, the dynamics that we have with our parents are because they kind of know us. So this is a little bit of a harsh truth, but parents who are very controlling, this can happen a couple of different ways. One is it can be exactly what this person describes, but what I would say is that it usually takes two to make a relationship, including parents and children. So here's a really common scenario that I see. Kid is a gamer. Kid isn't proactive. Kid isn't passionate. Kid isn't productive. So what happens? Mom or dad pushes them. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. The kid's not doing it on their own. And if I leave them alone, they're not going to do it. So mommy or daddy pushes. And then you're like, oh, okay, fine. I'll go to university. Okay, fine. I'll get a degree. And then as the kid responds to the pushing, the kid's natural born drive actually atrophies. Because now mom or dad is taking the responsibility of pushing. Because if they don't push, you're going to sit still. And then once they start to push, you get used to them pushing. Now you need them to push because you did not develop that drive on your own. And it becomes like this cycle where the less you do, the more they push. The more they push, the less you have to do. And so I would bet money that if I talk to this person's mom and I ask their mom, hey, if you did not push your son, what would happen? And the mom's answer, I feel 95% confident in this. The mom's answer is nothing would happen. If I didn't push him, he wouldn't do anything. So this is where if y'all's parents are pushing you and you don't want them to push you, you have to do it yourself. When people hear about our coaching program, their first response is usually, why would I work with another human being when I can watch YouTube videos all on my own? Working with a coach is about amplifying your time and effort. We're great at wanting things and even making some progress, but we usually struggle with follow through or have some kind of setback. And that's exactly where working with a coach can help. Coaches provide personalized support to help you set appropriate goals, make progress, and even work through setbacks. Just let us know what your goals are, what kind of support you're looking for, and we'll match you with the best coach for your unique needs. Check out the link in the description below to see if coaching is right for you. If my wife is nagging me because I never do the dishes, what is the right way to get her to stop nagging? Is to fucking do the dishes. Now, we oftentimes don't want to do that, right? Because when my wife is nagging me to do the dishes, I don't, you can't tell me what to do. It's not my job to do that. Look at the One of the worst tendencies of human beings is when people tell us to do something good for us, we're like, no, I want to do it myself. And they're like, okay, fine, do it yourself. And you're like, I'll do it on my time. Like, when is your time? Not now. I'll do it, Mom. Stop pushing me. You're treating me like a kid. So if you have parents who are pushing you in life and taking responsibility and controlling your life, chances are you're not taking the responsibility yourself. Now, there are, of course, variants of that, right? Sometimes we have super toxic parents who you are trying to take responsibility. They push you in another way. They're trying to control you even though you're trying to express some positivity. And if we really look at it, right, so now this is where sneaky things happen, right? So who controls this person's life? Mom does. Who is responsible? My family situation. Mother's control held me back. Mother's doing everything. I need permission from mommy. So I'm not saying that mom is all healthy here, or that she isn't narcissistic or controlling or whatever. Like, she could be OCPD, who the hell knows? But also, it's like, if you look at this relationship, everything flows from the mother, but not in like like everything is flowing from the mother, the divine. Oh. It's like all the toxicity, all the control, I don't know how to talk to girls because mom wouldn't let me. Even now I have to ask mom for permission. This is a very common problem. The first terrible thing that you can do to your children is to have your children try to be a better version of the person that you married. So I see this a lot, where there are all kinds of ways that you can fuck up your kids. At the top of the list is turn your kid into a karmic balancing act for your own failures. That's pretty bad. I screwed up at this at life, and you're going to fix it. You're going to be better than me. I gave up my career, and so you're going to have a great career. Second thing that parents can do, which I think is probably even more devastating, is I am unhappy with the person that I married, and I'm going to take that resentment out on you. You're not going to be like your father. I'm going to make sure that you never end up like your father, because if you end up like your father and they get married to someone like me will be super disappointed in them. And I don't like my marriage, so I'm going to project all of that crap onto you, and I'm going to help you be happy by becoming something that is not your father. Crazy. Happens all the time. And in a weird way, like, they're not wrong, right? Because they're looking at this and they're saying, oh, like, I want my son to be happily married. I want my son to be successful. I resent being the primary breadwinner. I resent that my husband doesn't make as much money as I do. If they even made more money than they did, then we could have more luxury vacations and this and that. I'm unhappy in my life. And the cause of my unhappiness is the person that I married. So the best thing that I can do for my son is to make them into someone who is the opposite of whom I married. Therefore, if this is the reason for my unhappiness and I can shape my son, then he will marry someone and he will be happy. This is what we do as parents. We're going to fix the problems in our life vicariously through you. So now the question becomes, okay, if you're in this situation, right? And here I am emasculating y'all. Like, so I get it. I was a mama's boy too. I had to work through this shit, okay? So this is not me talking about y'all. How does Dr. K know this stuff? Because Dr. K was this person and arguably still is. So what do we do? This is where, if you look at it from the toxic angle, oftentimes what happens is that the kid has difficulty tolerating the negative emotion of the mother. So why do I ask for permission? Because if I don't ask for permission, what will happen? You're a 25-year-old man. What's going to happen if you don't ask for permission? What's going to happen is mom will get upset. And we can't have mom being upset. Chances are in this household, it sounds like mom was wearing the pants. So by the way, this isn't your fault, because chances are your dad was dominated by your mom. So you learned how to be a submissive man. Happens all the time. So the main thing that you need to do, and this is really important for putting your life together, okay? One of the most important things that we need to do to go from zero to hero is to be able to tolerate negative emotion from other people. Here's the cool thing. Most of those people are more bark than bite. Now, I'm sure that if you're listening to this, you're going to say, but in my life, someone is good at biting. Fine. But I'd say most people are better at bark than bite. And they've tricked you into thinking a bark is a bite. See, when a bark becomes a bite, when they can control you just by expressing negative emotion, they stop learning how to bite. In the same way that you don't know how to talk to girls because your mom wouldn't let you, all your mom knows how to do is like nag people now. And express frustration and get mad at you and make you feel small and make you feel powerless. That's the power. She knows how to make you feel small. She knows how to make you feel powerless. And that's what she's going to do. So if you want to unwind all this stuff, all you need to do is be able to tolerate that disappointment. Now, why is that hard? Because you're disappointed in yourself. She knows the chinks in the armor. She's the one who made them. She knows exactly where to hit you. Come on, guys. She's been taking advantage of your low self-esteem since the day you were born, like literally. So she knows all the weak points. That's why it's so hard. So literally what you do is you're going to do something that your mom will be upset about. And usually these moms are ranters. You know what I mean? Like, they get going. They're like, la, 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 and you're like, oh my God, no, stop, please. Okay, fine, I'll do whatever you want to. And now I have to tell you, and if I don't tell you, you never do it, and then and they know, dude, they know. So what we need to do is tolerate their negativity. And here's the cool thing. You guys want to know how to do that? This is wild. What we're going to do is we're going to accelerate the process, so we've tried it, right? So if you're like the kid, you've tried you tried arguing, that doesn't work. You tried the silent treatment, and then you do this, and then you do this, and you're like, you try to wait out the storm, but that doesn't work. Because then she senses weakness, and then she's like, no. She's like, oh yeah, I've got you on the ropes. Your dad tried this shit with me before you were born. I've been playing this game way longer than you can give me the silent treatment if you want to. I'm gonna win. Silent treatment ain't gonna work. So we're gonna do something really wild. We're gonna give them the one thing we've never given them before, and the one thing that they're bereft of. We're gonna give them compassion. Oh my God, Mom. Oh yeah. I know it must be so hard for you that I haven't impregnated another human being on the planet. Yeah. Oh, wow. This other person is pregnant? Wow. Their mom must be really proud. Wow. That's so hard. I know. I'm so disappointing. And something weird will happen, right? You're like, Mom, I know I'm a disappointment as a son. That's so hard to say because we feel that on the inside. We're like, I'm so disappointed. You can't say it. Saying it makes it true. Instead, she's going to keep on saying it. But as long as I hold out, because if you've had a controlling mom, you've been like, right? We have to withstand the storm. That's how we survive. It's resilience, it's perseverance, it's stubbornness. It's like, well, there's no DPS here. We're just going to tank up as much as we can. Just invest. I'm going to pump up my hit points. It's like 99 vigor, baby. Let's go. 99 vigor, 99 endurance, 6 strength, 6 agility, 6 int, 6 arcane, 6 faith. All we can do is withstand. So instead, what we're going to do, just be compassionate. Be like, yeah, that must be so hard for you. And then what's going to happen is they'll deflate. Because in order for their energy to ramp up, they need to feed off of you. They're like vampires. They take your anger, they take your resentment, they take your stubborn silence, and it just ramps them the fuck up. So we don't want to just take it. We're going to be compassionate, and we're not going to yield. So the other really interesting thing that a lot of these emotional kind of people respond to, they respond well to boundaries, but they chip away at other people's boundaries by getting really emotional and triggering your emotion. So we're going to deflate the emotion, and we're not going to budge. Because normally the way that we get them to calm the fuck down is by doing whatever they say, right? Okay, fine, Mom, I'll do it. I'll make a Tinder profile. Can you take some pictures for me? So you can be compassionate. It'll deflate them some. And then, just say okay, I'm working on it. Or say yeah, I'm not sure how to do that. So just be firm, right? So you can be honest without being emotional. You can say hey, so I haven't really spent a whole lot of time talking to girls. That's why it's hard for me to find a relationship. But then I don't understand why you don't this and why you don't this and why you don't this. So another thing that I find is really helpful in terms of setting boundaries. This doesn't work all the time, but then just saying okay, I'm going to go ahead and hang up now, or I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk out of the room. Just let them know you're leaving the conversation. Call attention to it, and then just say, this is not helpful. I understand you're frustrated, so I'm happy to hear some amount of your frustration, but this isn't helping me solve the problem. But you don't listen, and this and this and this and this and this. It's you've said that a few hundred times now. Doesn't seem to be working. I'm going to go ahead and hang up now. We'll talk tomorrow. And then just fucking hang up. And if you don't give them the wrong energy, what's going to happen is you'll see an escalation on their part. Next time they'll call you right away. You can ignore their call. Call the next day. You should pick up. They're going to blow up at you and be like, yeah, I know it's it's so rude to hang up on someone. I totally get that. I just couldn't handle the conversation. It was enough for me. And this is enough for me to do. 2, goodbye, period. I'll call you tomorrow. Love you, Mom. So the problem is that most of the time when we set boundaries, we don't hold with the emotions, and boundaries need to be done carefully. You need to have positive emotionality with firm boundaries. That's the right way to do it. Yeah, did you hang up on me? I raised you, blah, blah, blah. Yes. And then you can say, what's your understanding of why I hung up on you? Right? And this takes time. It takes time. It's not you're going to do it like this and it's going to happen. But this moves things in the right direction, and you'll find your own way forward. So one of the things, it's wild. One of the things that, is crazy. We have this educational thing for our coaches called case review, where coaches will come in, they'll present cases. And this is one of the most common things that we hear about, where clients have someone in their life who like they're struggling with. And then I'll ask like, okay, so like, what are your client's goals? The goals are almost never related to the person, but the person is sandbagging all of their other goals. So common. And so this is really frustrating, right? Because we don't really realize what it is that's really holding us back. We look at these problems like dating, and you're like, I don't know how to talk to girls. This may not be a problem of not knowing how to talk to girls. This may be a problem of all of this resentment that you've built up towards your mom, all of this negativity that you're getting from your mom, so that anytime you try to interact with another human being who's a female, what happens is you trigger all of this trauma from an overbearing mother thing, and you can't fucking relax and just talk to them. It's wild. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? It's like we don't even realize. And so this has been our overwhelming experience in coaching, is that when we work with people, like they come in with this goal, but this is the thing that's sandbagging. We work through this, and then somehow magically, like things get better over here. And everyone's like, how did that happen? And I'll do this in case review, because coaches will come in and they'll be like really like scared. They'll be like, I don't think I'm doing a good job. Like, my client has this problem, and they're not getting better. And like, it's been 5 weeks. And most of the time we're like, give it 2 weeks. And they'll come in 2 weeks later and they'll be like, hey, like, I don't know exactly what happened. Like, so it's hilarious. First, they're like, I feel like I'm an imposter because I'm not able to help with them with this. And it's this bad all the time. 2 weeks later, they come in and they're like, I feel like an imposter. I'm like, why? And they're like, well, they got better and I didn't do anything. So they did it on their own. And it's like, no. I mean, yeah, they did it on their own, but like you helped them get to where they need to go. It's really about, see, this is the crazy thing. We don't invest in ourselves. I don't know if you guys realize this, but like, when we look at this concept of capital investment, when you want to do something, like if you want to succeed at something, if you're like building a restaurant, you need to like invest time and money. And one of the craziest things that I see in our world today is we've stopped investing in ourselves. We've tricked ourselves into investing in things that we think is an investment in ourselves. And at the top of the list is education. We'll invest 4 years of our life, and if you're in the United States, hundreds of thousands of dollars for education. And I want y'all to just think about this for a second. If I gave you $200,000 in 4 years of your life, you could devote those resources towards self-improvement in whatever way you wanted. Imagine what you could accomplish. Like, that's a gigantic budget of time and energy. It's huge, right? If you could invest that same amount of time and energy into like whatever the fuck, you could learn so much. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed today's video. We talk about a bunch of topics like this on the channel, so be sure to subscribe for more. If you're already subscribed, GG, and we'll see you in chat.